Sir, change this to full screen mode.
Yes, just a minute. Yes. We talked about this first order Cauchy linear partial differential equation satisfying the some condition that is U is specified on some given curve, some space curve. This is your U naught of x. This is your Cauchy problem. Cauchy curve. So what did I explain? This Cauchy problem can be studied just by finding out the characteristics of this partial differential equation. Characteristics. So what are the characteristics? The characteristics are A, dy by ds is B, du ds is C. A, B, C, they are functions of x, y, u. So I will denote this curve by capital C, which of course depends on this parameter. This is the parameterization of this curve C. So this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, and this is your u-axis. It takes on specified values. That is, u is equal to u of xy, such that this curve is, I will write this curve, x is equal to x of xi, y is equal to y of xi. So x of xi, y of xi is u naught of xi. Problem consists in finding the solution of this form such that this solution, which is in the neighborhood of gamma, takes on specified values on gamma. It's very important. Right? It takes on these specified values. So this query is equivalent to asking whether this problem has a unique solution for this partial differential equation. So as a matter of fact, if P is any point here on the space curve and P is its projection, let me call it P naught. P naught is the projection of P. What is the condition that we determined? If you remember, xi should not be 0, right? This is the necessary condition. This is the necessary condition that j not equal to 0. What is xi? Xi is the parameter along this base curve, and therefore without any loss of generality we can take the same parameter along this base curve, okay? And this is the characteristic curve passing through this point P naught. So what is your j xi naught? J xi naught is nothing but dx dxi dy dxi, and this is your dx ds dy ds. This evaluated at s is equal to 0. S is the distance measured along this characteristic curve, means it is on. So I will write s is equal to xi. S is equal to 0 means it is on gamma, small gamma, which is the projection of gamma as a matter of fact. So you see, this problem is equivalent to specifying that this Cauchy problem has a unique solution passing through this space curve gamma. As a matter of fact, the solution contains this curve gamma. This is precisely that. And what are the conditions? This is the condition for this space curve. The corresponding condition is that the surface contains this gamma. Means, what does it mean? This means the characteristic is nowhere, right? The given curve is nowhere tangent to the characteristic curve, right? This is, what is this? Dx, ds, dy, ds. These are the components of the tangent vector to the characteristic curve, right? Characteristic base curve. And dx, dxi, dy, dxi, these are, what are these entities? These are the components of the tangent vector to the base to the base curve at this point, that is, this is tangent to this and this is tangent to this, right? So dx dxi, dy dxi, these are the components of the tangent vector to gamma, which is the characteristic, which is the base curve, right? It is the projection of capital gamma. And what is dx ds, dy by ds? These are the tangent vector to the characteristic, right? To the characteristic base curve. This is your space characteristic. I will call it C, and let it be C dash or C naught. I think it's all right. Okay. C naught. So is it okay? This so what? But if J not equal to 0, yes, what is the result? We noticed if J is different from 0, then a unique solution to this problem exists. If J not equal to 0, then, right, and this assertion is equivalent to the statement that the solution surface has a, right, this partial differential equation has a unique solution containing this space curve gamma, right? That in other words, when this not equal to 0, one more condition should be satisfied. And what is that? Nowhere capital gamma is tangent to the characteristic curve, right? So these two assertions are equivalent. Specifying u on this base curve is equivalent to specifying u on the space curve, right? If this is the condition which holds, means gamma, this is small gamma, this curve is nowhere tangent to C naught, right? It has a unique solution. This assertion is equivalent to the statement that the solution to this partial differential equation contains this curve capital gamma, that is a space curve, provided it is nowhere tangent to this characteristic curve C. In other words, the rank condition, the rank dx dxi, dy dxi, du dxi, and this is your dx ds, dy by ds, du by ds. It should be of rank 1. This we discussed last time. Yes, I gave you 2-3 problems. Did you try? Was there any difficulty? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, was there any difficulty in solving those problems? Did you get the result?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
You see, I explained this point to you that Lagrange's method is a mechanical way of doing things. It gives you the solution, but it doesn't tell us the geometry. Yesterday, I tried to explain the geometry, right? And I hope that, so I think you should do it analytically like this. This analysis will tell you that if the solution doesn't exist, why it doesn't exist. So eventually you will come to know that what happens to the tangent to this base curve or this space curve, whether the tangent coincides. So I specified 2 or 3 conditions, if you remember. If this is not equal to 0 and the rank condition is 1, then the Cauchy problem has a unique solution or no solution or infinite number of solutions. Tell me quickly.
Yes, sir.
Unit solution.
Any solution.
Non-zero units.
It has a unique solution
Unique solution.
for every xi, right? Now, this is the first case. The second case, if j xi equal to 0 for every xi, in that case, what happens?
Maybe infinitely many solution or no solution, depends on the rank.
Depends on the rank. Very good.
Yes, sir, I will.
Very right. What is the third case? Do you remember? What did I say?
Particular case that it should be 0 for some.
For some, right, for some. For some, say xi is equal to xi naught. Then, what was the assertion? What was the statement made? Then you have to look for the space curve. You have to look for the space curve. If you see, when you say j equal to 0 or not equal to 0, it refers to this base curve, isn't it? It refers to these base curves. So now we have to look for gamma. If gamma is a characteristic, gamma is at xi is equal to 0, xi is equal to xi naught, means a space curve at that point, right? This is the point xi is equal to xi naught. If at this point we have to find out that what happens to the tangent to this space curve gamma at this point xi is equal to xi naught. Suppose it is tangent, then what happens? Hello? If jji equal to 0 at xi is equal to xi naught, right? And gamma is characteristic at xi naught, then what will happen?
So then there exists a solution in the neighborhood of
Xi is equal to xi naught. What kind of solution? Will it be a C1 type solution or not?
yes, sir, C1 type.
Are you sure?
Means it's C1 type if the rank condition holds, then only it's of C1 type.
That's all right. When I say that gamma is characteristic means what? The tangent to gamma coincides with the tangent to the characteristic. Is that right? So rank condition holds. So your statement, yes, again, think about it and tell me. What happens when j is equal to 0 for some xi naught? And this space curve gamma is not characteristic at xi is equal to xi naught. These two cases are important. What happens in this case? Can you tell me?
No solution is.
Then there is no solution for if gamma is not a characteristic, then there is no solution.
And in this case, in the third case, what did you say just now? Just, I mean, a few moments ago. What did you say?
There exists a solution in C of type C1, no? If rank condition holds. I said this.
Here, what do you say? Here, what do you say?
There is no solution.
Why do you say that there is no solution?
No solution of class C1.
That is the correct statement. There is no solution of class C1. That is very important. Solution may exist,
Yes, sir.
but it may not be differentiable. Solution may exist, but it may not be differentiable, you see. That is the point. It may not be differentiable at this point, xi naught. Let us take example, then through example, perhaps it will be very clear. All right. Let's take this very simple example. Ux plus uy is equal to 1 minus u. And I take this example, this initial curve, u is equal to sine x. On this curve, y is equal to x plus x square. And x is given to be positive. All right. What will you do? Yes, the starting point should be, all right, I can write the characteristics, but this is important. Xi is 0. What is jxi 0? Hello? It is your dx d xi, dy d xi. This is your dx ds, dy ds. Evaluated where? At s is equal to 0. S is equal to 0, right? Means this is the situation. This is your gamma. I mean, this is, you see, this is your space curve. All right. I will write, this is your space curve. And this is your base curve. So it refers to the base curve. So this is the projection of space curve. And this is the projection of this space characteristic curve. All right. like this. This is your P. Let me call this point as P and this point as P naught. All right. So here it is very, I can write that U is equal to sine xi, X is equal to xi, Y is equal to xi plus xi square. This is the correct, right, parameterization of this curve gamma. Is that right? This is the parameterization of this space curve gamma. And therefore the base curve would be U is equal to sine xi, so X is equal to xi, Y is equal to xi plus xi square. And in fact, U is specified according to this rule on this gamma. So what do you get? J xi 0. J xi 0, dx dxi, that is 1. Dy by dxi, that is 1 plus 2 xi. Dx ds, what dx ds, what do you get dx ds? The characteristics, dx ds is 1. Am I right? Hello?
Sir,
This is the characteristic.
1 and 1.
Very right, good. Dy by ds is 1, du ds is 1 minus u. So anyway, so for this base curve, this is, what is this dy by ds? This is your, hello? 1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very nice. So what is the difference? Minus. Am I right?
Minus 2 xi.
Okay, minus 2 xi. What happens when xi is different from 0? What happens?
Unique solution.
And what is xi? Xi is nothing but your x. So it means when xi is not equal to 0, when x is not equal to 0, so here on the y-axis, x is 0. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Equal to 0, xi not equal to 0 means x not equal to 0. So when x not equal to 0 means what? X is different from 0, right? That is, x is greater than 0 means here, that's why it is specified here. X is greater than 0. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
If x is xi from 0, could be negative, positive, but this condition ensures that x positive, the solution exists only for x positive. All right. What happens when xi is equal to 0? Can we investigate? What happens when xi is 0? So look here, this is the point. Xi is equal to xi naught is equal to 0. I was talking about this point. Is that right? When Ji is equal to 0 for some specific value of xi, there is only one value. Xi is equal to xi not equal to 0. So in fact, in the question I may ask, what happens to the solution as x approaches 0? Hello? From right. As x approaches from right, how the solution behaves?
I think,
Yes, please. Any query? Any question, please? All right. So I would like to know what happens to xi. So now this is to be, it is very clear that J xi naught 0 is 0. What next I'm supposed to look for? Please tell me. Hello? Gamma,
Yes, sir.
capital gamma, whether it's a characteristic at xi is equal to xi naught or not. This I have to see.
yes, sir.
Whether gamma is characteristic at xi is equal to xi not equal to 0 or no. This is to be seen. You see, there are the two cases. There is one case when gamma is characteristic. There is another case when gamma is not a characteristic. So you said it very correctly. When gamma is characteristic means, you see, that condition is satisfied. You see, rank condition. In fact, it corresponds to the rank condition. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So a C1 solution in that case exists. We can see. Here how we can see. So when xi is equal to xi not equal to 0, what happens to the solution? Can you tell me quickly what is the solution? You can determine it quickly, faster than me. What is the solution? Hello? Dx, Lagrange's method gives you faster because you see J equal to 0. Now, if J is equal to 0, I mean, it will take some time in solving these equations and using these initial conditions, but then these initial conditions, they do not ensure that xi and x can be determined, because this condition is very important. If j is equal to 0, it's not necessary, I mean, it's not possible to express s and xi explicitly as functions of x and y. Better to go for, so we should understand both the methods. So what is Lagrange's equations? Yes, dy upon 1 is du upon 1 minus u. And from here you get y minus x is equal to some constant. And from here you get minus 1 minus u is equal to what? X. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Plus some constant. So from here I can say that x minus ln of 1 minus u is some function of y minus x. Is that right? This is the general form of the solution, right? What is the whole idea? Although it's mechanical, but I can understand it because I know the theory. This represents a characteristic surface in x by u space. This also represents a characteristic in the x by u space. Each member of this family intersects a member of this family along a characteristic curve, and the locus of such a curve is given by this. I have eliminated that parameter. Is that right? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now, this I need to determine this function f.
Yes.
I need to, so I will make use of initial conditions. So make use of initial conditions, that is x minus ln of 1 minus u. What is u? U is your sine x. Initially, right? Initially, u is equal to, this is at s is equal to 0. These are the conditions which hold at s is equal to 0. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
S is the parameter. S is the, so, very right. This is your f of, what is y? Y is your,
X plus X.
y is,
Plus x square.
and this gets cancelled, so it is x square only. Is that right? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very nice. Now, so it is very clear from here that, of course, x square, this square of a real number is always positive, but if it is given that it is positive, I am required to determine the behavior from right. So it is all right. You take x square is equal to t. So what do you get? Minus under
t minus
1 minus sine of under root
3
t. Am I right? This is f of t.
t.
And therefore, quickly I can write this as x minus 1 minus u. This is your square root of y minus x, correct? Minus ln of 1 minus sine of square root of 1 minus x. Is it all right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Good. So transposing this term to the right, and I can write ln of 1 minus u divided by 1 minus sine square root of y minus x. This is equal to your square root of, so transposing this to the right, and let us take it to the left. So this you get x minus square root of y minus x. Is it all right? Hello?
Yes, yes, sir.
Is it?
Sir, yes, sir.
So this gives me 1 minus u is equal to, because this function is e to the power this thing, so I can write e to the power x minus square root of y minus x, and this expression which is the denominator, sine is square. Very nice. So from here I get the form of the solution that u is equal to 1 minus e to the power x minus square root of y minus x, this multiplied by this expression 1 minus sine of square root of 1. So it is very clear that the solution, in fact, it is very clear that y should be greater than or equal to x. Is that right? Hello? Y is greater than or equal to x. So y is equal to x, in fact, is this line, correct?
Yes, sir.
And if you look at the characteristics, you can find out that these characteristics are nothing but the parabolas. You can see in the xy plane, can you see?
Yes,
Y is equal to I plus xi square and x is equal to xi. So if I eliminate xi from these two, right, I get the locus. Is that right? If I eliminate xi from these two equations, I get the characteristic curve, namely y is equal to x plus x square. Is that right? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it is a parabola. It is a parabola. So it is very clear. Y is equal to 0. Y is equal to 0 at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to minus 1. So the parabola, in fact, it passes through these 2 points. Yes, it has to be like this. This is your minus 1. This is your 0. Right? This is the line y is equal to x. So here on this x is less than y, here x is greater than y. It is very clear from the expression that for y greater than x, the solution exists. Is that right? For y greater than x, that is in this region, the solution exists. In this region, the solution exists. Is that right? So now we have to see what happens to the solution. What happens to the solution when xi goes to 0? And what is xi? Yes, x goes to 0. When x goes to 0. Is that right? So how we will find it out? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it is very clear from here. Please see yourself, you see. Because if I differentiate ux and uy, this expression e to the power minus y by x, what it will give you? E to the power y minus x, e to the power y minus x, it will be e to the power y minus x, and its derivative will be, hello?
Yes, sir.
With, of course, minus sign, it will remain. This y minus x will come in the denominator, is that right?
Yes, sir.
I am differentiating this with respect to x and y. If I am differentiating with respect to x, minus sign will be there, it will be plus 1. With respect to y, it will be minus sign, but in both the derivatives, you will find this term in the denominator. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Happens when xi goes to 0, the solution becomes, it looks like this, but you have to see that this is multiplied by 1 minus sine y minus x, right? What is xi? It is very clear from here that xi square, as a matter of fact, if you look at xi, what is xi square? Xi square is y minus x. It is always positive. Is that right? From these 2 equations. Xi square is your y minus x. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So when xi goes to 0 means y approaches x. Is that right? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So our, you see, in fact, what we are going to inquire what happens when xi approaches 0 from right, because xi is nothing but your x. Xi is nothing but your x, right? When x approaches 0, but we have seen here that when xi approaches 0, y approaches x. Is that right? We are on this line. Y, right? Y is equal to on this line. So when this is the situation, this goes to 0, but at the same time, look at the numerator. This also goes to 0. So this is 0 by 0 form, and you have to make use of L'Hopital rule. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So please do, this is an exercise. It's a beautiful problem. It will give you the result that solution exists, which is of class C1. It is differentiable. It is differentiable. Will you complete this exercise? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Please fill in the details. See yourself. It's a very beautiful example which tells us that solution is of class C1 if this is the situation. Okay, now let us consider another case. Let us consider another case when j is equal to 0 and gamma is not a characteristic. Gamma is not characteristic at that point. Let us see this example. So we can take the differential equation can be, yes. Retain this differential equation as it is. Change this curve, right? This is your partial differential equation. What is, by the way, what is the nature of this differential equation? Linear, non-linear, quasi-linear? What is this? Tell me quickly. Hello?
Yes, sir, audible.
Pardon? What is that?
Linear.
Gandhi, there is a difference. Let something more than that.
Semi-linear.
Semi-linear.
No. Of course, it is linear. 1 minus is a linear function. We say it is non-homogeneous. Linear, Non-homogeneous, very important. You see, this is the characteristic property that we are going to get whenever linear non-homogeneous. Yes, this is because linearity, you see, if y1 is a solution and y2 is a solution of a linear equation which is homogeneous, then k1 y1 plus k2 y2 is also a solution. You know it, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Suppose you have a second order differential equation which is linear and homogeneous. If y1 and y2 are two solutions, then c1,
Their linear combination is also a
if
solution.
it is non-homogeneous, then
We have a particular.
so there is a difference. So this gamma is this slightly different from the earlier one. Y is your x plus x square. But the u is specified like this, right? On the base curve, u is specified, and on a given curve, the given curve is this. Now you can see here what is j. J, of course, it remains same as we determined earlier. Yes. Because you does not come into picture, and it is very clear that j xi 0 is 0 at xi is equal to xi naught is equal to 0. So xi naught is the only point where Jacobian of the transformation vanishes. What is the geometrical meaning of vanishing of the Jacobian at this point? Who will tell me? Hello, please tell me. What is the geometrical significance of when I say the Jacobian of the transformation from xy to xi s when vanishes at s is equal to 0? What does it mean geometrically? Hello? Somebody should tell me what is the geometrical meaning? It's very simple. I told you that we are in the base curve, right? This is your.
Gamma is not a characteristic.
This is the base curve, gamma. You have to talk base curve, and this is your gamma is. Yes. What does it mean? J is equal to 0 at yes. If at z is equal to this is equal to 0 means tangent to this at this point coincides with the tangent to the characteristic curve at this point. Is that right? This is the meaning. Is that right? What is j of xi naught? This is your dx d xi, dy d xi. This is your dx ds, dy ds, where at s is equal to 0. S is the distance measured along this. Xi is the parameter, not necessarily distance. This is the parameter, and xi is the parameter along gamma. What are dx, ds, dy, ds? We know from calculus that these are the components of the tangent vector to the characteristic curve. Evaluated at s is equal to 0. S is measured in this direction. Here s is equal to 0. So this is the point P. This is the point P naught. Is that right? These two entities, dx, ds, dy, ds, in fact, what they are the components of the tangent to the characteristic curve at this point P naught. What is dx, dy, dz? What is this? Hello? These are the components of the tangent vector to gamma at this point. If this is equal to 0 means what? These two vectors are linearly independent. They are parallel as a matter of fact. Is that right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
It means what? That gamma is tangent to C naught at this point P. This is the geometrical interpretation of the vanishing of the Jacobian. All right. So J is equal to 0 at xi is equal to xi naught. My point would be, yes, what happens to gamma? What happens to capital gamma, which is your space curve? This is your space curve. At xi is equal to xi naught. This is the point, okay? At xi is equal to xi naught. All right. Hello. As a matter of fact, this is the origin. You see, I should have taken this as the origin. Anyway, it's all right, but it is very clear because xi naught is 0. I have taken origin here. The origin must have been here. All right. So is it okay? I would like to know what happens to gamma at xi is equal to 0. Xi is equal to xi naught. Is it a characteristic or not?
May or may not.
No, so how to find out? What is the way? Hello? How we will find out? We will find out, yes, A, B, C. What are these entities A, B, C? Hello? Very good. These are the components of the tangent to the space curve gamma. Yes. At this point where? At hello? I'm interested in finding out, yes, S is equal to 0. Because P naught is the projection of this point. Again, this is on the U axis, right? So at S is equal to 0. Similarly, I have to find out dx d xi, dy d xi, dc d xi at S is equal to 0. So what are these two vectors? Can you tell me quickly? Dx ds, obviously it is 1. Dy by ds, it is 1. And what is this? 1 minus u. And u at S is equal to 0. U at S is equal to 0. What is u at
Minus
1? U at S is equal to 0. What is that? U at S is equal to 0. These are the conditions which are...
minus
Sin x plus.
Hello? So tell me,
minus
what is that? Please tell me, what is dy by ds?
Minus sin x.
minus sin xi. Minus sin xi.
Very good. Minus sin xi. Very good. Is that right? Hello? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Tell me quickly, what is this vector? Dx d xi? That is,
One.
yeah, hello? Dx d xi?
1
1.
1.
Okay.
This is
All
1
right.
plus 2 xi. 1.
3 xi square.
Plus 2.
1 plus 2
2
xi.
xi.
1 plus 2 xi.
So, what will be,
1
what you
plus
will
2
do?
xi.
1 plus 2 xi.
Yeah.
Yes,
Submit the
dy
second
by
also.
ds.
So are you sure? What is, let me write. X is equal to xi,
Xi.
y is equal to xi
Xi
plus
plus xi square.
u is equal to 1 plus sin xi. This is your, right? This is the curve gamma. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
I want to determine d by d xi and du d xi. Du d xi. Du d xi. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What is this vector?
It is.
This is tangent to this is tangent to gamma. Is that right? What is this third component?
So second one will be 1 plus 2 xi.
Second one is 1 plus 2 xi.
1 plus 2 xi. Very good. What is the third one?
This cos xi.
This will be your
Cos
Cos xi.
minus. Am I right? Because u is your what? U is your 1 plus sin xi, right? That is, this is 0 cos xi. Am I right? Hello. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cos xi.
Cos. And this evaluated at, of course, this is at S is equal to 0. So now you tell me what happens at xi is equal to xi not equal to 0. This is 0, but this is 1. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
1, it coincides, it is same. Here also 1 is same, but this component is different. So obviously it is of rank 2 as a matter of fact. What does it mean? This means, yeah, this does not coincide with the character tangent to C. You see, this small gamma is the projection of capital gamma, small c naught is the projection of capital C. Yes, here of course this coincides, but here they don't coincide. The rank condition does not hold.
Rank is 1.
Means what? Why? Because you see at xi equal to 0, this is 1, 1, 0. But
This is 1, 1, 1,
1,
1.
1, 1.
yes. So what is the rank matrix?
Two.
How big? right? There exists a minor.
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
All right. So, okay. So what does it, so what we'll say? We'll say that gamma is not a characteristic point, is not a characteristic point at xi is equal to 0. Or gamma is not characteristic at xi is equal to xi not equal to 0. Is that right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
All right. So now it would be interesting to find out that what happens to the solution. The solution in this case would be dx upon 1 is dy upon 1 is equal to du upon 1 minus u. So y minus x is equal to c1 minus ln of 1 minus u x plus some constant c2. And from there we find out that x plus ln of 1 minus u is some function. All right, let us retain this f of y minus x. Am I right? Please check. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very nice.
yes, sir.
All right. So from here, if I make use of the initial conditions, what do we get? At initial condition, right? So x is fine. ln of 1 minus u. U in this case is minus sine x minus 1, different from the earlier. This is f of y minus x. Y minus x is your x square. So this gets cancelled. Am I right? Hello? This is 1 plus sine x. Am I right? No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 1 plus sin x minus.
1 plus sine x. Yeah, this is correct. So what do we get? Put x square is equal to t and then put x square is equal to t. So x will be your under root t. Again, you would like to approach 0 from right. So under root t plus ln of sine under root t is equal to, what do you get? F of t. Once the function is known, I can write this solution. X plus ln of 1 minus u is equal to f of y minus x, that is square root of y minus x plus ln of sine of y minus x. Am I right? Please check this calculation. I may commit some mistake somewhere.
Sir, you
minus-
have taken u is equal to sin x plus 1.
So minus sin x.
So it should be ln of minus sin x.
Yes, sir. Log negative point is
So in
not-
the last,
After applying
Look
initial
here.
you have taken, you have taken
we
sin
have-
x plus 1. No?
Is it all right? Hello? U is equal to 1 plus
Sin x.
u is equal. Is that right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, you
But sir, in the
now
question,
So in applying initial condition, it will be log minus sin.
minus sin root t.
Yeah, minus sin root t.
so just 1 minute.
But logarithm of sin is minus is not defined.
Yeah.
Log of 1 minus u, this remains the same. I will have to check the question, please. Just 1 minute. Let me check.
Yeah, it should be 1 minus sin x. U should be 1 minus sin x.
That should be that's right.
Yes, yes.
Check. It's all right. You put plus sign and then see.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
So now please check. It's an exercise for you. You get the solution in this case also. U is equal to some function of x and y. Is that right? Just like this. Now you will find that, you see, in the earlier case it was C1 solution, but here you don't get C1 solution. You don't get C1 solution.
Excuse me, sir. If it is 1 plus u, the 1 will not cancel. Then it will become log 2 plus
2
sin.
plus sin x. Yeah.
2 plus sin x, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very okay. Let it be. Fine. It's okay. 2 plus sin x. It's all right. What I say that you get a solution u is equal to u of xy. Now please check. Please check whether ux and uy, do they exist? They exist as x, which is 0 from right. And you will find that they do not exist. You will find that they do not exist. Means Solution exists, but it is not of class C1.
Okay.
The solution is continuous, right? The solution is continuous, but the derivatives, they do not exist. So the solution, in fact, we check that the solution is not of class C1. So this is what the result was. Yes, the final conclusion that solution may exist, but no C1 solution exists. No C1 solution. That is, somewhat less regular solutions might exist. Less regular solution means the solution is continuous, but it is not differential. So we are going to deal with such solutions, you see. So let's talk about again that linear case. If you remember, ut plus c naught ux. You see, this is our objective here. That what happens to the solution? I told you in the beginning that there are problems. No matter how smooth is the initial data, the solution breaks down after a finite time. The solution breaks down after a finite time. So that is, the derivatives become unbounded. Derivatives, they become unbounded. That is, this is your linear. What do you think? Is it a linear or non-linear? It is constant. This is constant, and u is equal to your u naught x.
Linear, sir.
Very good. Linear homogeneous. Linear homogeneous. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Because right hand side, there is no term. I mean, when it is called homogeneous or non-homogeneous, a difference is said to be non-homogeneous.
Homogeneous.
This is homogeneous. Okay, all right. So, and we noticed that its solution, can you tell me quickly what is the solution of this? We discussed it. X minus C naught T. Do you remember? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it is assumed that it is a smooth function. A smooth function, so when one can see quickly at t equal to 0, it satisfies the initial condition, and you can find the derivatives, they satisfy this differential equation identically. So this is the solution, and it is unique. What is that which ensures uniqueness? Can you tell me quickly? If I say that the solution is unique, means what? What is the condition?
Jacobian.
Some necessary.
Jacob.
Very good, very nice. Jacobian of the transformation. That ensures. Okay. Now, you see, this case is trivial. It is taught at the undergraduate level, but then the other case, ut plus c of u. Now, it is no more a constant, but it is a function of the unknown, right? What is the nature of this differential equation? Tell me, linear, non-linear?
Quasi-linear.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. Quasi-linear. Because it is linear in the highest derivatives, but non-linear in u. So if the equation is of this kind, look here, it's a very simple looking equation. And suppose the data is like this, that is uxt at t equal to 0 is u naught x. U naught x at t equal to 0. You see, in physical problems, the y coordinate is replaced by t, time. Y plays the role of time in physical problems. So here I have replaced y coordinate by t. T stands for time. D by u, d by t plus c, d by u, d by x. This is equal to 0. And this is the initial condition that is specified, right? That t equal to 0, u is equal to u naught x. Here x belongs to the set of reals, and t, of course, when I write, t is greater than 0. Because time is always positive. Okay. At t equal to 0, the initial condition is specified. So how to solve it? I tell you, this so simple looking equation is highly deceptive. You see, a study of this leads to most of the essential ideas associated with hyperbolic waves and systems. This is extremely important. Very, very important differential equation of, right? We are going to discuss. If somebody has understood the analysis of this, then the person knows about the systems because systems, higher order differential equations can be expressed as systems of first order equations. So it is, there is an analogy. We will talk about it if the time permits. Okay, such a differential equation, it appears in fluid dynamics, in plasma dynamics, in solid mechanics, and in large number of engineering problems, large number of especially mechanical, chemical, and civil. You see, in all these engineering departments, people, they study exchange processes. Exchange processes. What is exchange process? In an exchange process, you see, some material which is in the fluid is allowed to flow past a solid bed. And in this process, some of the material which is present in the fluid, it gets deposited on the solid bed. And then it is followed by a reverse transfer taking place from solid bed to the fluid. This is your exchange process. And it is governed by a differential equation of this kind, the evolution of U of this kind. The evolution of U at later times is governed by this an equation. U, what U? U is the density of the material in that case. This parameter U, right, this variable U is the density of the material present in the fluid. Okay, the evolution takes place according to this law. Now we know how to solve it. We have understood the method. So from here it is very clear. What do we say? Yes, you write the characteristics. The characteristics are dx dt is equal to, tell me quickly, dx dt is your, hello?
One.
Dx dt.
One.
Let me write dx ds.
One, sir.
It should be C. Dx ds. Am I right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I am writing the correct.
P of U.
Is it wrong? Hello? Is it okay?
Yes, sir. C.
Yes, sir. DX.
C of U. And what is dtds?
One.
Very nice.
1.
uds?
Zero.
Zero.
Very good. This is A, this is anyway, whatever. So what is the base curve at t equal to 0? At t equal to 0, u is equal to u naught, yes. So x is equal to xi, t is equal to 0, and u is equal to u naught of xi. This is at equal to 0. These are the conditions at x is equal to 0. So we had to solve this system. How to solve this system? It's very clear from here that t is equal to s plus some constant. And that constant can be obtained using this condition that at s is equal to 0, t equal to 0, and therefore it should be what? Tell me, 0. Is that right? T is equal to s, that's all.
Yes.
Very good. And similarly here, du ds is equal to 0 means what? U is equal to some constant.
Constant.
U naught xi. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
U is equal to constant. Evaluate at s is equal to 0. So u naught should, u is equal to u naught. Is that right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now we are in a position to compute this. So dx ds will be c of u. Dx ds is c of u. So what do we get? Dx ds is equal to, so x will be your s. Hello? C. U is nothing but u naught xi. So s times u naught xi. Xi is some fixed number. What is that xi, if you remember? A characteristic passing through this point. It meets the line at t equal to 0. Now here it is t, this is x, and this is xi. So xi is fixed. Right? Xi is the point where this characteristic intersects the line t equal to 0. This is your x is equal to xi. Is that right? At s is equal to 0, right? At t equal to 0, x is your xi. When t is equal to 0, x is your xi. Is that right? Yes. So this point is fixed now. In fact, it works like a parameter. Right? It works like a parameter. We allow xi to vary from minus infinity to plus infinity. Different characteristics corresponding to each characteristic. You see, passing through a point, there will be a point xi here. Right? Different characteristics. They will intersect the line t equal to 0 at different points. So this is plus some constant. Now tell me what is the value of that constant? At s is equal to 0, this is xi, so it has xi. Am I right, please? Please check, is it correct? Yes, it satisfies the differential equation. It satisfies the initial condition that at s is equal to 0, x is equal to xi. Is that right? Hello? At s is equal to 0, x is equal to xi. And dx ds is nothing but u naught xi, because xi is a constant. Is it all right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So this is the solution. This is the solution. Solution to system. Let me write solution to system. System of equations, they have this solution. What is the Jacobian now? Can you tell me quickly? The Jacobian of the transformation. Hello? So dx d xi,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
this is 1, dt d xi, this is 0. What is dx ds? C of u naught xi, is that right?
Yes, sir.
U is u naught xi. And what is this?
Dt
Dx.
by that 1.
This is 1, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
ddds is 1, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is 1 not equal to 0, means there is just a unique solution. Since Jacobian, right, but of course that condition has to be seen. That condition, time condition, it is very clear. J not equal to 0, this is a necessary condition. The next is the rank condition. Anyway, you can check it, but in this case, the solution is. Hello? Any query from anywhere? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
in the solution where you have written x is equal to su 0 xi, so it should be cu 0 xi.
तो एस भी तो आएगा एस इंटू सी शुड बी देयर
s into नहीं सर s into c0 है सर s भी रहेगा
S into?
या
All right. S into C, which is your
Yeah.
u naught xi. Because u remains constant, so it is very clear. U remains constant. But what is that constant? U naught xi.
U naught xi.
So C of u naught xi. Very correct. Thank you. X is equal to S C u naught xi plus xi. These are the characteristics. Is that right? What is S? S is your T. So the characteristics, in fact, are X is equal to T times C of u naught xi, because C is a function of u and u is u naught xi. So I will replace it by some other function. So I will write that T is equal to f of xi plus xi, where capital F xi is nothing but C of u naught. And what is u naught xi? U naught xi is constant. U is equal to u naught xi.
Yes.
Is that okay? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So you see, this is the analytical solution of this. What it says, now look here, if I can determine xi from this equation as a function of x and t, look here, this is, let me call this as 1, and what is u? U is your u naught xi. Because these characteristics, u is equal to u naught xi, is that right? So this can be taken as the analytical form of the solution. If I can determine xi as a function of x and t from 1, and I substitute in 2, I get u as a function of, that is xi element of 1 and 2 will give me a solution. And in fact, it's a unique solution because j is different from 0. Unique solution where? In the neighborhood of this space curve gamma. In the neighborhood of this space, xi is an eminent. Look here, this is your space curve gamma. You get a unique solution in the neighborhood. But this solution, which is of class C1, right? A unique solution which is of class C1. This is to be kept in mind. But this C1 solution, if you move away from it, it may break down after a finite time. It's going to happen here. This is going to happen. So xi element of 1 and 2 will give me a solution, right? What is that? Now you tell me, is it always possible to find xi as a function of x and t from 1? Hello? Please tell me, is it always possible to express xi as a function of x and t from 1?
Yes, sir.
Not always. Not,
Cap should be linear, sir.
no. It is, you see, again, it is implicit function that you have to see.
Yes.
You have to make use of implicit function theorem because it's implicitly involved. You see, you can see here that if you look at the solution, the solution will be u is equal to, hello, quickly you can see that dt upon just one. Hello. Who is this? So what's the matter? No, I am in a meeting, please. All right. So xi eliminant of 1 and 2 will give me a solution of this form. It's very clear. But this solution is of class C1 in the neighborhood of gamma. But away from this gamma, this solution may not be of class C1. In fact, the solution may cease to exist. This is quite possible. It breaks down the continuity even. It may not be continuous even. Anyway, we'll see it. Xi eliminant of 1 and 2 will give me a solution. So the thing is this, you have to make use of implicit function theorem. From here, so what I was saying that quickly you can see making use of Lagrange's equations, dt upon 1. Yes, what do you get? Quickly tell me. Dt upon 1, where is the differential equation? This is the differential equation. Dx upon C of u is equal to
du over 0.
Is
du
equal
over
to
0.
So this says that is equal to some constant. From here quickly you can find, and from here since u remains constant, you get x minus t times C of u. This is also constant. Am I right? C2.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And from these equations you find that
So
u is equal to of x minus t C of u. Is that right? So look here, the solution is here. U is involved in this function as well. Can you see? U is involved in this function as well. The solution is u is equal to some function of x minus t times C of u. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So this is not an explicit form of the solution. It is implicit. Implicit form of this solution. Right? Now the question is this, is it possible to find u as a function of x and t from here, which is of class C1? Make use of implicit functions theorem. Implicit functions theorem says that if C is smooth, what the theorem says, if C is smooth, so you can see here the same problem here. X is equal to t C of u naught xi plus xi, and u is equal to u naught of xi. From these two, I can write this, that f xi is this expression. So the question is this, whether I can determine xi as a function of
X.
As a function of x and t. Same problem, right? This is implicit form of the equation. Is that right? Hello?
Anji, yes, sir.
Implicit form. So here we have to make use of implicit function theorem. I think I will talk about this a little later, but let me find out what is the solution. So all right, so let me write that this is the solution at any time t. This is ut plus C of u, ux is equal to 0, u at x0 is equal to u naught x. This is your initial value problem, and we have obtained the solution that u is equal to u of, is that right? U is equal to u of what? X minus C of u into t. Am I right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Because this is at t equal to 0, you can see here it satisfies the initial condition. At t is equal to 0, u is equal to u naught of x. Hello? This is the solution. Solution at any time t. Solution at any time t. Is that right? You can see here at t equal to 0, it satisfies the initial condition. Let us see what is ut. Ut will be your u naught prime. Prime means derivative with respect to this argument function into its partial derivative with respect to t. So what do you get? Minus C of u into derivative of t, which is 1, minus t times C prime of u into its partial derivative with respect to t, Prime means derivative with respect to the argument function. So if the argument is u, so means C prime means dc du. And we have assumed that this is a smooth function. Right? This approximate, and this is a differentiable function. Again. So these are given to you. C is given to you, and I can take this to be, yes, C dash U to be positive without any loss of generality. I can take this to be negative, right? Because here, again, I will talk about the flux function later, but let me assume that C prime is positive. dc du is positive, all right. So is it all right? This is it correct? Please check. Deva u, deva t will be your u naught dash. Dash means it is derivative with respect to this expression, x minus, is that right? Hello? 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 Is it all right? So transposing,
Yes, sir.
transposing this to the left, what do you get? 1 plus t times c dash u into u naught dash. This is your minus u naught dash into c. Understood that c is a function of u. I need not write every time. This multiplied by ut. So from here I get ut is equal to minus c u naught dash divided by 1 plus t c dash. It is clear that c dash means dc du into u naught dash. Now similarly I can find ux, x derivative, partial derivative. Yes, this ordinary derivative means derivative, chain rule, we are using chain rule. So the partial ordinary derivative of u naught with respect to this, let me call this as u naught prime, and derivative of this with respect to x, that is 1 minus c dash into ux into t. Am I right? Hello? Is it okay?
Yes,
C prime, its derivative with respect to t. Chain rule, C is a function of u, in turn u is a function of x. So, all right.
ux.
Yeah, very right. Is that right? U sub x.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Dash u sub x. Any other term? Hello? So transposing this to the left, what do we get? ux into 1 plus c dash u naught dash into t. This is equal to u naught dash. Or we get
That is not. That is not visible.
Oh, sorry. Is it all right now?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? 1 plus c dash u naught dash t. So look here, this is equation number 1. This is equation number 2. If you multiply this by c and add to it, what do we get? ut plus cux. This is your 0. Hello? Is it all right? If I multiply this 2 by c and add to the first cu dash upon this with minus sign, right hand side is 0. Is it all right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So you can see here that the form of u which we have obtained satisfies the initial condition. It satisfies the differential equation identically. So this is a solution. But you see, this is a solution as long as this expression appears in the denominator is different from 0.
Yes.
Should be different from 0. Should be different from 0. Because there is a likelihood of this being 0. Look here. Look at this expression. Now I told you that implicit functions theorem. Now you can make use of implicit functions theorem. It also gives us the same condition, right? What is that? X is equal to xi plus t times c of u naught xi, right? This is, so I would be able to, so what is the condition if you remember? If I can write this as h as a function of x, t and xi in the form t times c of u naught xi minus x. Is that right? This is equal to 0. So h vanishes, this function vanishes at this value of x, this value of t, and this value of xi. At this point, x, t, xi. Is that right? Hello? At this point, it vanishes. Is that right? Now, what is the condition needed? It's a smooth function. This is also a smooth function. right? This is all smooth. So as a matter of fact, the condition that xi can be expressed as a function of t is that this should be different from 0, right? If this is different from 0 at this point, x, t, xi, right? It is different from 0 at this point, then there is a small neighborhood of this point x, t, xi, right? Where the solution exists and it is differentials of class C1. So look here, what is h xi now? You can see here, it is 1 plus t times c dash into u naught dash xi. You look here, the same expression which appears in the denominator. Can you see here? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is equivalent. So it's very clear. The thing is this, u can be expressed as a function of x and t as long as this is different from 0. If it is different from 0, u can be expressed as a function of x and t explicitly. So look here, your t is always positive. If suppose this is your initial profile, this is your x-axis, this is your t-axis, and suppose this is the initial profile, u is equal to u naught of x, right? So on this part of the profile, you can see here that u naught dash is positive. Use that, right? You draw tangent, the tangent, is that right? U naught dash is positive. Hello?
Yes, sir.
And here what happens? The tangent is, yes, the slope is negative. So on this part of the profile, you can see that u naught dash is positive. U naught dash is positive, C dash is positive, T is positive, so definitely it is non-vanishing. So if your initial data is monotonic increasing, if the initial data is monotonic increasing, is that right? If your initial profile is monotonic increasing, it is always different from 0. So you have a perfectly continuous solution for all time. Not only that, a smooth solution. It can vanish. T is positive, C dash I have taken to be positive in the beginning, dash is positive, but U naught dash, on this part of the profile, U naught dash will be negative. Is that right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
The slope will be negative at this point. So it is quite possible that if it is monotonic decreasing, in fact, it's going to happen that any point which lies on a profile which is monotonic decreasing, this function turns out to be 0. And then we have to see that what happens to the solution. So we'll talk about it tomorrow. Time is up. And if there is any query, please do ask. Any question relating to this lecture which we have discussed just now? Hello?
Sir, there is no question in the chat box.
All right. Thank you very much. So can we close this session?
Yes, sir. Sure,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.